What's up, guys?
On this week's show,
The end of Arrow
so we're some kind of Suicide Squad.
and Higher, Further, Faster, baby,
All that and more on this episode.
of One Giant Leap for Geeks.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for
Geeks. Welcome to another episode of OGLFG, where we talk about movies, video games, and all things in geek culture. I'm your host, Mike C. Squared, and with me are my co-hosts, Benwah
I ain't sick no more. Ha!
and DJ Mellymel.
Hey, and I ain't getting sick.
Spoiler alert, Mike C. Squared is under the weather, like hardcore, so enjoy the nasally edition of One Giant Leap for Geeks this week. Sorry. But before we get started, I do want to let you know, if you enjoy the show, tell some friends about us, share us on your social media, whatever you choose to do. Just know that you're helping us let others know about the best damn podcast they probably never heard of. Now, if you want to talk to us, the show is on Twitter at GiantLeap4Geeks. You can get a hold of our resident DJ Mellymel at Froggy Beaver, and Benwah is at Benwah Gaming. That's BENWAH Gaming. So, before we get into the bag of goodies for this week, what you been doing?
Well, let's see. I got a surprise movie date Thursday night, double feature, so that was pretty legit.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Now, double feature, what'd you see? I know you one of the
I saw
movies.
Captain Marvel,
Mm-hmm.
and we saw Happy Death Day to You.
Oh, okay.
So-
Still haven't seen that one yet.
It
So
was pretty good.
I feel like
Keep
I gotta
that
watch the
one in
first
your
one
back
before I
pocket.
watch that one.
I know, I haven't
you
seen it
definitely
either.
have to watch the first one first because it picks up right where the first one left off.
Okay, yeah. All right.
And you won't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, you won't understand what's going on.
Okay, fair enough.
Other than that, that's about it. It's pretty chill week so far.
Sweet. What about you, Benwah?
Turns out my credit union had one of their ATMs compromised with a skimmer.
Ooh.
Not the one that I go to in the town where I live, the one on the other side of the city in the township. So because of that, I'm not sure how many of them they've gone to, but they're going to be checking out every ATM and every credit union of that at every branch. And mine was actually down yesterday, but it's back up. And it turned out also the reason why I didn't get paid right away on Friday was because something was wrong with their system. Don't think it was related, but still was pretty annoying. I think I need to take my car in because my brakes are squeaking like a motherfucker right now. So I don't know if it's just a lot of moisture and maybe rust, or if my pads are getting worn out. I'm going to have to look into it.
Could be a little bit of both because we've gotten a lot of rain lately too.
Yeah,
it might be eroding it faster.
It was only squeaking when it was like real cold. Once it would warm up, it'd be fine. But it's getting louder and louder progressively. So it's like I still want to look into it. Also, something that I thought about hanging on to for my rabbit hole this week, but you guys might have already heard about this. There is a Christmas movie being filmed in Frankenmuth.
Yeah, I think I heard about
No,
that.
is it like a Pure Flix like Christian message?
would
like
have to
Hallmark?
be.
No, it's going to be.
Movie?
The specifics have not been out about it. Everything's really tight-lipped. But my guess is it's going to be like your generic, probably 2-hour made-for-TV Hallmark type thing.
Wait, I just want to know, is Tim Allen going to be in the movie? That's the only thing I'm worried
I
about.
highly doubt
Probably
it.
not.
However, a manager of the Cherry Republic did say that the main star in the film is somebody who currently has a TV role. Whether or not it's on a network TV show or just something that's on cable, I don't know because she really did not give any specifics. I do know somebody who works out there, but I felt like, even if they knew, which I doubt they did, they probably wouldn't tell me anyway, so I did not follow that lead.
Is there a specific area that they're going to be filming this, and do we know dates yet? Because I work in Frankenmuth 3 times a week. I'd rather not hit that traffic.
At River Place.
Okay.
And they were looking for free extras, although from everything I've read, the last day they may be filming is tomorrow, so you're probably late on that.
Okay, I'll be good then, because I don't have to go until Thursday, but...
Okay, so our mission is one of the three of us needs to become an extra in this movie.
Yes.
and we got to wear our shirt for the podcast and just kind of just like linger in every shot until we get fired and kicked off the set.
Well, this isn't one of those things where you just show up and hopefully you get cast as an extra. They actually want you to email them some information and a headshot. I know a couple of people who have done TV, and I thought about like asking them if a selfie with a webcam or a phone is technically considered a headshot, but I didn't do it because I'm like, fuck it.
Hey, I'm cute enough. I could make an extra in a movie.
I was gonna say I can do some headshots real quick. I mean,
you want to be able to brag, say you was on Lifetime or whatever?
Hell yeah!
I'm assuming it probably is like a Hallmark film. It's not. I doubt it's gonna be any like big network thing, but still, it would be cool to be an extra in a film.
Well, I guess as for myself, yeah, like I said, spoiler alert, I am sick to the bitch. So yeah, that has been how. I can't say my whole week has been because, to be honest, this is only like 2 days in now at this point of the sickness.
Should have took some Zicam.
Well, I'm taking immune boosters and like, day and night cold and flu medicine and vitamins and all this other kind of fun stuff. Initially, I thought I was just like doing too much and I had exhausted myself. I'm like, I'm staying up late and I'm doing the show and I'm working and I'm going to the gym and I'm like, maybe I'm just wore out and I'm just old and tired. And then once all this nastiness in my face started, I was like, oh, okay, I'm sick. That at least makes me feel somewhat better because I'm like, I couldn't figure out what was wrong because I just felt really weak and just like exhausted and I couldn't figure out why. And then now this
it
came
all makes
on.
sense.
And I'm like, it's the AIDS. I have the AIDS. Okay, maybe not AIDS, but it feels like it right at the moment. Sorry for anybody who.
Well, actually, I believe there was the second ever case of HIV has been cured in somebody. But
I saw an article about that.
I digress upon that. There has been a pretty bad bug going around lately, and if your conditions, it's worse than mine was, only because I was not around people as much as you were. I'm pretty sure I've been bouncing on and off with the cold and with the weather, like not deciding whether to be warm or cold. My sinuses have really like made my immune. You probably had a little bit of a cold, and when your immune system was messed up from that, you caught whatever bug was going around.
Yeah, because I guess there's a couple other people at work starting to get sick now too, and I was like, great, we'll all just be sick and just die. That would be awesome.
Get some Lysol and some medical masks.
We're all expendable anyway. They'll hire somebody else. It's fine.
Yeah, I know. It's like, it's fine. But anyway, moving on.
Well, first you're hurting yourself, and now you're sick. You're just falling apart all around, aren't you, Master?
I keep wanting to say James Gunn directed, but James Gunn did not direct this. He is a producer, and his brothers wrote this. But the what if basically story, what if Superman was a fucking asshole ass little kid, Brightburn. And I can't lie, I like this. Like, I like it a lot. Like, and I feel kind of bad for saying I like it, to be honest, because I was a very vocal opposition to what Zack Snyder was doing with Superman in the Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman movies. I was like, I don't like this darker take on Superman, yada yada.
So maybe it just wasn't dark enough for you.
Maybe that's what it is. You know what? You may have a point, actually. So, I mean, jumping off of that, what did you guys feel about this?
I actually, well, you know my reservations about Superman anyways.
I know. You don't care for him as
I don't care for Superman. However, this kind of attracted me to it the first trailer that I saw. And now after seeing the second trailer, I'm like, okay, I can kind of get behind this. So I think I'm with you. I think Superman was, in general, was just too squeaky, and James Gunn's Superman wasn't dark enough.
Or Zack Snyder.
Zack Snyder.
So if you're gonna make him evil, just make him full on Children of the Corn evil.
Either he's got to be,
he's got to be Hitler evil or nothing, is what I'm getting from this.
He's either got to be Boy Next Door or Hitler evil. There is no in between. squeaky rub-a-dub-dub with a duck and whatever.
Sure.
Or he's got to be like, I'm going to kill your whole family.
Okay.
The in-between thing, it doesn't work.
What about you, Benwah?
I disagree. I hate the extremes, whether you're like goody two shoes or chaotic evil. I hate the extremes. But then again, if you're the cool heel, that means you can eventually become the anti-hero because you get popular, people like you. I don't want to
become the Punisher.
Yeah, I don't want to see a film where I guess the protagonist is in a sense really the antagonist. I don't want to see that. I'd much rather have this kid be the kind of evil being who only enacts revenge on people, but typically doesn't go after those who don't fuck with him. Like you say, on my way, I won't
right. Kind of like a dark vigilante, like he kills bad people.
Right.
Because it makes you feel bad in this trailer, because some of this trailer was the same as the first one.
Sure.
But like a lot of trailers are. But I actually took some notes here. My notes, they look just like the ones I did for previous film reviews we've done. But basically, I got to thinking about it too. Those symbols that kid draws, it reminded me at first of like the S's we used to make in school. But then I'm like, no, those don't look like the S's. When you were a kid, did you ever have a clacker? It's a toy that you put in between your two palms, you rub it, and it has two plastic balls that just go from around, click, 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 click.
Oh,
click.
yeah. I got one of those at the house. I just didn't know what it was called.
When you rub one of those quick enough that your vision catches like the light from them constantly moving, that symbol looks like that.
Yeah, you know what? I see what you're saying. Yes.
All right.
Fair enough.
And you can tell right now, this kid is obviously going to be weird. However, just from looking at him, he looks like a normal boy. Like, he looks normal. So my assumption is he's just teased because, like, he doesn't fit in socially. And
yeah, he seems too much of a, to use your kind of a wrestling analogy, he's too much of a face.
Well, yeah, he's just too much of an innocent person at that moment in time. So when he does turn like evil or bad or into the monster or whatever it is that he transforms into or becomes, because we still don't know if he's wearing like a mask or if that's like his real face.
Yeah.
So when he turns into that, it's like, is he doing this to people who have either done him wrong or just would not accept him? Or is he doing this to everybody? Because
I think it's a little bit of both, because it seems like, or at least people who he has at least himself perceived to be bad people or have done him wrong somehow. Because I think the lady who works at the restaurant is the same lady that's like, I want him out of this school or whatever, and he's a freak and yada yada yada.
I think that's the mother of the girl, because when the coach, I'm assuming it was like a gym coach or something, he gets shoved to the ground by all these kids, and he's like, oh, he's a freak, he's weird. The coach is like, pick him up or help him. So when she grabs his hand, she's like, what are you doing? I'm assuming she squeezes the fuck out of him.
Yeah, it sounds like he's like breaking her hand when he's doing it and shit.
I thought I thought that was the scene probably directly after that, where it's the mom like, oh, he needs to be locked up. And then nobody knows who his real mother is. It's like, wow, lady, I agree that the kid needs to be punished if he broke your daughter's hand, but don't like shit on him for being an orphan. Like, now you're just a cunt. Yeah. Now you're a cunt. You just lost all.
It's funny because this whole thing, it kind of feels like a kid who was like pushed too far, and instead of him like becoming like a school shooter, he has like superpowers instead.
Are you like reading my mind at this point? Because you literally just took the exact words I was thinking.
No, that's just how it came up. Yeah, I mean, because if this would have been, you could just take the supernatural superpower shit out of this, and this could totally be a story about a kid who ends up like taking out revenge on students at school. You know, this could be like a Columbine-esque story, because that's what it kind of feels like he's being bullied and he's not accepted, and he kind of snaps. But because he has a line in a trailer like at the very end, because what's the mom?
Elizabeth
the actress?
Banks.
Yeah, Elizabeth Banks, thank you. She's saying to him, like, oh, I know there's good in you and this, that, and the other. And at the very end of the trailer, he's like, I want to do good, Mom. But this is like after he's like flown through the fucking house and like tore through the walls and all this shit. And it's like, yeah, like you say you want to do good, but I feel like you really don't. Because You doing some kind of fucked up shit, kid.
That makes me wonder. There's a couple of roads they can take with this, because earlier on in the trailer, like he looks curiously at this lawnmower blade.
Yeah.
This was like, and for some reason he's like, let me just stick my hand in this. Like, I think he sticks his hand in it, and as soon as he realizes he bent the fucking blade, like he gets that look on his face, like, oh shit.
Oh, so yeah, I can do anything, yeah.
Well, that's what I wonder. Is it going to be a matter of he can be good-natured, but he seeks revenge once he realizes he can do whatever he wants? Or is it one of those things where, because he slowly realizes the power that he has, it corrupts him? Like, is it going to be a matter of, I'm fucking badass, let's cause some havoc? Or is it just I'm so young... Like, can he not control himself, or is it that his naivety from being so young, assuming whatever alien race he is, like, he just can't control it? Like, is it ego, or is it, basically, is it going to be ego, or, like, is it id or ego? Will it be ego, or will it be impulsive? Like, he can't stop it.
Right. Or even, we don't even know, like, what that symbol represents. There could be something from wherever he came from. Like, it could be almost a Dragon Ball Z situation where, you know, in that story, Goku is sent to Earth to destroy the Earth, but then he becomes good.
Well, he gets amnesia. He totally forgets what he's there for.
Yeah, so maybe he was sent here with the intention on taking us over, but because of his whole nurture versus nature thing, you know, he wasn't raised to be that way, but then this darker aspect to his personality is coming out because he was already predisposed to be in that way. I mean, we you know, I'm sure they'll explain the movie because we don't know enough yet to say one way or another. But one of the things that I did think that I didn't like about this was that I hope they haven't shown us too many of the surprises in the movie, because this trailer, they show him kill a lot of people. Yeah. Now, he kills the lady in the restaurant. We know he kills the sheriff now. The guy in the pickup truck, we see him drop the truck.
No. I laughed at that. Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, I know. That dude was hilarious.
No.
The airplane with the 267 some odd passengers, we know all the motherfuckers is dead. And I'm just like, I feel like you kind of gave away all the good shit in the movie now. It's like, so when I go into it, I already know these beats are coming, so I know the scene where the sheriff comes up to the front porch and he's like, "Oh, everything's okay." I know he's gonna swoop by and kill him. So
the black cop didn't feel like they gave it a little bit. Trailer. That's some bullshit.
No. So I'm kind of like, maybe we could have, you know, saved some of that stuff for the movie.
Either they've given away all the good parts, or he's just going to be dropping bodies through the whole show.
Right. They're just going to have a montage playing that, let the bodies hit the floor song, and he's just be killing everybody in the town.
Everywhere.
Oh,
I like over the top gore doesn't bother me at all. But that scene where like the waitress pulls the glass shut. How many people just like cringed? Like,
that was rough. That was really rough.
Anything to do with anything going into your eyes, I always cringe.
Yeah.
However, props to the waitress for pulling that shit out like a boss and not.
She did. Yeah, she just did. Like, oh shit. I got an eyelash in my eye here. Oh, nope, it's glass.
Now, I said at the beginning of this how I felt kind of bad for liking this so much and kind of conflicted because I was so advocating against what Zack Snyder was doing with Superman. So after I saw this, I put out a poll on Twitter, and I actually did a bunch of these this week. I put one out, and I said, after seeing the newest trailer for Brightburn, it got me thinking, were we too hard on Zack Snyder's darker take on Superman? Should we have stayed the course, or was it for the best that Warner Brothers jumped ship? And it's still ongoing. It's about like 2.5 hours left, but at this point, everybody who's probably going to respond has responded. And it's actually almost split, like evenly. 51% said we should have stayed the course, and 49% said we should have jumped ship, which I'm really surprised at because I thought most people didn't like what he was doing with Superman. But maybe Mel is right in her assertion that if we're going to go dark with Superman, then go all the way and just make him a villain straight up and not try to pretend that he's still a good guy. But it's like, but he could kill us at any moment with all this power. And it's like, yeah, but if you're not going to actually do that story, then don't cock tease me with it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
just the tip.
Right. Right. But I mean, no, I do like these kind of what if stories with superheroes and stuff. And I don't necessarily think you need to take the main, like, I probably wouldn't have liked this if it was actually Superman that they was doing this with. Right. But because it's a Superman-esque character with the same kind of origins and power set, I can accept it because I know it's not the Superman. It's just kind of a what if story.
Sure.
But no, I'm really interested in seeing this. I mean, everything that has come out about it so far looks really good. And I'm really excited for this one. But
it has the potential to tell such a really good story, so I hope they don't blow it.
Yeah, but I was going to say, DC, don't get no ideas with this shit. Do not see this bullshit and be like, oh, yeah, bring back Zack. No, we done with that.
No.
Hell no. But anyway, moving on.
No.
Someone else tells a dark Superman story and you love it. I bet you'll be praising the Watchmen show as well.
What's up, guys? Mike C. Squared here from the future. Just wanted to jump in and warn you guys that the audio went wonky on us for about a good 20 some odd minutes of the podcast. If you want to skip this part and jump ahead to about 45 minutes or so into the show, you can skip us sounding like Autobots for a while. If it doesn't bother you, you can go ahead and listen to the rest of the episode like normal. I do apologize. I don't know what happened. I really had no way of fixing it. But, yeah, that's just kind of the way it is. Benwah's end sounds okay, but DJ Melly Mel and I went too deep into the Matrix or something. I don't know. That being said, I will let you finish the episode, or like I said, jump ahead to about 45 minutes or so into the episode, and it clears up just fine. All right, enjoy the rest of the episode.
Our second look at the boy from hell, or Mr. Hellboy. I tried. I now, if I recall, I was not too plussed on this when we first saw it. I was like, that looks pretty cool. Like, I thought the best part, and I'm gonna say it again, the best part of the trailer is when he has the fucking fire sword and the fire crown.
That was legit.
Yeah.
There was also a part where there's an old lady with the Uzi.
That was kind of cool too. Anytime you can get old people and guns together,
I'm especially like high-powered guns. I'm down for that. And then there was another scene, but I don't quite remember. Oh, like towards the end of the trailer where he's like, yeah, I don't think this is going to work out because I'm a Scorpio and you're fucking nuts.
Yes.
That was perfect.
No, the line is actually, she says, we are meant to be together. And he's like, I know you're right. He's like, but I'm a Capricorn.
Yeah.
He's like, you're fucking nuts. That is my main takeaway from this, is that I like the humor in this, that it makes a lot of the more ridiculous stuff a bit easier to swallow. Because he's fighting like giant ogres and shit, and there's like hellscapes, and he's riding a dragon at the end, and there's like raining blood, and they have an orgy or some shit, and it's just like
a 5th century elf or something.
Yeah, it's a lot of crazy shit going on, and I feel like, you know, anytime you can make the audience laugh, they're a lot more willing to accept the just more crazy or outlandish shit. I think that's why the Guardians movies work so well, is because, hey, if you can keep me laughing, I can go with the talking squirrel and the tree and all this other weird shit. Just crack some jokes, and I won't question it too much. That being said, though, I kind of felt like the, help me out here, Ben, the Resident Evil lady. What's her name?
Mila.
Jovovich?
Jovovich. Yeah.
Mila Jovovich. I saw Alice, and I'm like, right. Oh, Alice is now into witchcraft.
I do feel kind of like they made her into like a female Thanos.
Yeah,
because she's like walking through like the city streets, and everybody's turning to dust, and I'm like, now don't get me wrong. Infinity War was not the first movie to have the villain turn people into dust, or anybody into dust. That being said, that's kind of like the thing for that movie now, so now anything that comes after that, I'm automatically going to look at it and be like, that's Thanos.
Right.
That's Thanos' movie. You can't do that. You can't.
Be like, the mouse is going to come get you for copyright.
Man, I swear to God, look, I was saying, he will snap your studio out of existence. You better shit.
Be very careful.
Mm-hmm. Now, on a slightly related note, Amber is upset because they got rid of Hawaii Five-0 from Netflix. But there's an actor from that show who's in this.
Yeah.
He's the Asian guy. I don't know the actor's name, though.
You would ask me on
But,
the spot.
no, I mean, I'm not, it's rhetorical. But what would we call him? Would he be a were-jaguar? Something? Because I thought he was turning into a werewolf in the trailer, but he's like a jaguar leopard or something. What's the spotty cats?
Cheetah.
Okay, a cheetah, a were-cheetah, a were-ta.
Yeah, and you're talking about Daniel Day Kim.
Thank you, Daniel Day Kim. Yes.
I knew it was going to come.
And I thought that was cool.
I knew I wasn't going to pronounce it.
No, I knew it was going to come to me, but it wasn't coming.
It's like something, I don't know, yeah. But, I mean, I never really liked the original two Hellboy movies. I know they're kind of supposed to be cult classics or whatever, but I've never really gave a shit about Hellboy.
Watching this trailer really kind of, like, they had the guy come out in, like, the naval coat, and he's like, oh, well, Hellboy, hi, son. And I'm like, didn't we already see this once or twice? Because every scene that I saw up until the old lady with the gun and the giant fire sword, I was like, we've already seen this.
In the old movie.
We've seen this before. Even the guy who is...
It's like Batman. You gotta show the origin story every fucking time.
Even the guy that is Hellboy, he looks very similar to Ron Perlman's Hellboy.
Well, this was actually meant to be a sequel to the second Hellboy. However, I'm going to mispronounce this guy's name. Guillermo del Toro.
That's actually pretty good.
With this.
That's just close.
And for that reason, Ron Perlman would not reprise the role. So this, instead of being a sequel,
well, they did a really good job of making this guy look very much like Ron Perlman.
Yeah, or Ron Perlman just looks like a demon
in the face. I mean, it's no coincidence that they keep finding ways to put him in prosthetic makeup.
Now, even if
you
this
remember
were
that Beauty and the Beast show?
Did you guys see the second Hellboy? Because I have not.
I've seen both of them.
I think I've only seen the first.
Yeah, the second one reminds me more of this movie than the first one does because it has like the giant monsters in the city and shit like that. I don't know. There was just something about it. Maybe it was just an acquired taste kind of thing. I never cared for the first two.
Yeah.
This one I'm not like doing backflips over it or anything, but it looks pretty good.
I mean, it looks meh. But I thought the first one looked meh. I was just like,
yeah.
All right, it's gonna have some cool shots, but it's gonna be a slow-moving movie.
I like that it was a Red Band trailer though too, because
Yeah.
you got to see when he was like gutting people and stabbing them and shit. You got to see the blood and shit, and I was like, okay, this is definitely gonna be rated R. And that's what I don't get. It's like, I'm not gonna talk about Venom. I'm not. Okay, I am. That's what frustrates me so much about Venom. I'm like, if they can make this with probably a similar budget, because special effects wise, it don't look that much different than how Venom did.
Right.
You couldn't have took the risk with that and made that rated R, and then had blood and guts and shit like that.
I think those missing 45 minutes of Venom, or however much they cut out for theaters, I think it makes the difference.
Probably more violent.
Yeah. I really think that if we had them extra 45 minutes, you'd have had a totally different impression of Venom.
Maybe. No, because he'd still be sitting in lobster tanks in restaurants and eating frozen tater tots and all that silly
my favorite
shit.
part, okay?
That was so fucking stupid. Anyway,
That's
Hellboy.
why it was my favorite part, because it was stupid.
I like the actor that's playing Hellboy. I really enjoy him in Stranger Things because he's a sheriff in that show. So I'm really excited to see him in a leading man role. And like I said,
I have yet to see Stranger Things, so
I'm
I'm
missing out. It's good.
unaware of this guy's talent, but
He's good. He's good.
I hear good things.
And he can play serious but then still comedic at the same time. And I'll buy him as a hero.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, this is a high praise coming from somebody who does not give two squirts of piss about Hellboy that you have made me interested. So good job, Sony. I think it's Sony making this. Either way, who knows? Anyway, moving on.
Ron Perlman is a beautiful man. You fucking take that back.
So the time has finally come. Idris Elba will be James Bond. Wait, no, I'm getting something. Not James Bond. No, are we sure?
Yeah, it's not
Okay.
him. I think your brain's kind of cloudy from the congestion right now.
Deadshot. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Deadshot. I'm sorry. Never mind. Segment over. Moving on now. So, yeah, because they actually just made a joke on the most recent episode of SNL about Idris Elba playing James Bond. Because for years, people have been talking about replacing Daniel Craig with Idris Elba. And for whatever reason, they're just not going to do it.
I would say the
people were pissed off when they
Bond
changed.
fans aren't going to let that happen.
People were pissed off when they changed James Bond's hair color. You change his skin color, these motherfuckers be riding in the goddamn streets, all right? So, so I mean, just let it be, I guess. Like, it ain't going to happen. That being said, as we know, they are moving forward with Suicide Squad 2. James Gunn will be writing and more than most likely directing. We're pretty much all but confirmed on that front. Mm-hmm. But Idris Elba is going to be replacing Will Smith as Deadshot in the movie. Now, I'm getting this from mandatory.com. They said, sorry, Fresh Prince fans.
What?
Oh, no, I'm not. That is literally what the first line said. Sorry, Fresh Prince fans, but Idris Elba is replacing Will Smith as Deadshot in Suicide Squad 2. Is an upgrade. The Warner Brothers movie was a response. I know they throw a shade. Was a response to Smith leaving the James Gunn Guardians of the Galaxy project, which the studio has high hopes for after the dumpster fire that was the original Suicide Squad. I'm not paraphrasing any of this.
I know.
Elba seems like more of a natural fit to play the one-eyed assassin anti-hero than Smith, who is circling a biopic of Richard Williams, the domineering father of tennis stars Serena and Venus.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Mm-hmm. This seems like a win-win for all parties and wouldn't be the first time that a high-profile movie role was replaced by another actor.
Iron Man.
Yes. I was going to say, now, the last time something like this happened, it was Terrence Howard being replaced by Don Cheadle in the MCU.
And it worked out, so...
Yeah, they cracked a little joke about it and kept on moving. But I also put out a poll on Twitter, because I wanted to know what people thought.
Putting up all these polls.
Mm-hmm. Yep, get on this poll. So I said, it is being reported that Idris Elba will be replacing Will Smith as Deadshot in Suicide Squad 2. Are you excited for the replacement? If not, who would you rather see in the role? Now, no one gave me an outright, like a third option, but we had 108 votes, and 76% said hell yes, that this is a exciting replacement for
I like Will Smith, and I like Deadshot. I'm okay with the Idris Elba replacement.
I am too. I mean, I don't know about Benwah. Do you like Idris?
He's a damn good actor, and I think he'd have made a better Genie, too.
Whoa, shots fired.
Damn.
Whoa, okay.
See, I don't think he'd be a good Genie.
I ain't even seen the Genie character yet, because the movie ain't come out.
Have you not been watching all the trailers we've been sending?
Well, you know what? There is one that just literally came out.
Well, no, I've seen the trailer. I haven't seen the film, because the film hasn't
There is one, and we're probably going to talk about it next week, but there's a new Aladdin.
You weren't even part of that podcast, and we talked about
yeah,
the
that
trailer.
first time. Yeah,
This makes me question whether or not I've seen it.
2,000 flushes. You damn right I saw it.
Oh my god.
I shed on that so hard.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Yeah, you did.
But that being said, though, I think that Idris Elba is a great actor, agreed. So I can say now with consensus with everyone that we all think that Idris is a good actor. But I don't think he always makes the best movie choices. Because
Fair enough.
Pacific Rim, ain't all that great. This Hobbs and Shaw movie that he's the villain in, don't look all that great. So I think he's a good actor. I just think that he maybe doesn't have the best agent or doesn't pick his roles.
Needs a new agent.
Yeah, so I mean, now I have faith in this movie because I have faith in James Gunn.
Sure.
But if it turns out to be bad, that'll be like the third kind of crappy movie he's been in like a row.
Yeah.
So I'm like, Idris, man. Like, I hope this works out good for you because I want to see you do well because I think you're a good actor. But
he needs some good PR.
Yeah. But I mean, I think that this is a better fit, if for no other reason that Idris is popular, but he's not so popular to where you can't see the character past the actor. Because with Will's case, I can't see Deadshot past Will Smith. I can't see the Genie past Will Smith. I
definitely can't with
Will
Genie.
Smith.
Right.
With Idris, I know who he is, and I've seen him in a lot of shit, but each time I see him,
he is that character.
He is the character in that moment.
I can see that.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Kind of like same thing like with Keanu Reeves. It's like no matter what he's in, he's John Wick and all that. That's Keanu Reeves. That's Neo from Matrix. That's
right.
villain.
From
right. He's what was his name?
That was Ted. He was Ted, not Bill.
Or he's Ted from
Ted Theodore
Yeah,
Logan.
Ted.
He was Johnny Utah.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. I am an FBI agent.
Yeah, love that. Anyway.
So I think with Idris, he can disappear into the character, and I can accept it more.
His fame doesn't outshine what he's trying to portray.
Thank you. Yes, all that.
But
Just fun little tidbit of information for you kids out there. So, yeah, we will continue to follow the developments on this some sort of Suicide Squad as it comes out. But until then, moving on.
If I had my way, Idris Elba would be playing James Bond. And humans would also be slaves under my foot. A girl can dream, can't she?
Welcome to Benwah's Wabbit Hole. It's where I, Benwah, give you a brief synopsis of random things I found interesting on the internet. Some of these things may be further elaborated on in future podcasts, but I'd recommend you dig deeper for yourself if you're interested.
The views and opinions expressed in the Wabbit Hole are those of Benwah's and Benwah's alone, and do not necessarily reflect the position of any member, affiliate, or future sponsor, despite us not having any, of the One Giant Leap for Geeks podcast.
According to researchers at Columbia University, first cousins share 1/8 or 12.5% of their DNA. If first cousins were to bear children, they'd have around a 4 to 7% chance of having a genetic disorder. Whether or not that will stop Utah first cousins Angie Pang and Michael Lee from having children is unknown, but the stigma around an incestuous relationship won't stop them from getting married. At least in Colorado, where marrying your first cousin is legal. Angie and Michael remember having a crush on each other back in second grade. They were both divorced as adults, and upon spotting each other at a family reunion, the sparks were reignited. Many of their conservative Mormon family are unsupportive with this. However, Angie's father, Michael's uncle, came around to be supportive upon learning that one of the past Latter-day Saints prophets, Joseph Fielding Smith, married his cousin. Angie and Michael have started a petition hoping to get enough signatures that would not only help make Utah recognize their marriage, but make marrying your first cousin legal in the state of Utah. Japanese professional wrestling legend and 35-year veteran of the ring, Jushin Thunder Liger, announced during a New Japan Pro Wrestling press conference that he would be lacing his boots for the last time at Wrestle Kingdom 14, January 4th, 2020. Liger began his professional wrestling career under his real name, Kichi Yamada, training in Mexico, having not met the height requirements at the time for the New Japan Dojo. His success led him towards the Young Lion Cup in 1986. It was in 1987 where Yamada took the role of superhero Jushin Liger, updated to Jushin Thunder Liger in 1990, based on the manga character, which he still uses to this day. Originally a high-flying wrestler, Liger created the Shooting Star Press, a 720-degree forward backflip used by many a current contemporary. His style would change to a more psychological, powerful grappler in 1996, after surgery for a brain tumor caused him to no longer wish putting as much strain on his body from high-risk, high-impact maneuvers. Liger wrestled all over the world, including Stampede Wrestling, where he trained in Stu Hart's legendary dungeon, WWE, where he defeated Tyler Breeze at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, and WCW, where he would appear on and off over the 90s, winning their World Light Heavyweight Championship from Flying Brian Pillman in 91, and then losing to Brian Pillman in the first ever match on Monday Night Nitro in 1995. Liger accumulated many accolades over the years, including being considered one of the top 20 wrestlers in the world twice, the most reigns as IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion at 11, and tied for third most reigns as IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champion with 6 reigns. He created the Super J-Cup tournament, which 1994's inaugural competition is considered one of the greatest professional wrestling cards ever. Liger is the greatest junior heavyweight in Japan's history, and no matter how you weigh it, the greatest junior heavyweight, light heavyweight, or cruiserweight in the world. Recently, 78-year-old game show legend Alex Trebek announced on Jeopardy's YouTube channel that he was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. He stated that he was going to keep working and fight, planning to beat the low survival rate of 3%. Jokingly, Trebek remarked that he did not want to break his contract of hosting Jeopardy for another 3 years, a role he's had since Jeopardy's return to television via syndication almost 35 years ago. Many people have spoken out in support of Trebek, including Olivia Newton-John, who's currently in her 3rd battle against cancer, Wheel of Fortune host Pat Sajak, and the man with the longest winning streak on Jeopardy, Ken Jennings. a woman by the name of Elise Tedeschi. This is going to be a hard name to pronounce. A woman by the name of Elise Tedeschi is currently within her 7th year of remission and penned a letter to Alex hoping to instill even more hope in him as a survivor herself. Pancreatic cancer is rarely detected in its early stages. While there are no definitive causes of pancreatic cancer in most cases, doctors have identified many things which could lead towards it, including the usual smoking, obesity, and poor diet. Now, on a personal note, I am a huge fan of Alex Trebek. I am fortunate enough to have seen him in more roles than just host of Jeopardy, as I used to be a fan of classic Concentration and have memories a bit vague of his brief tenure as host of the 1990 revival of To Tell the Truth. He's hosted many game shows over the past 5 decades here in the States and his native country of Canada, many of which you can find on YouTube. And despite what Sean Connery has said multiple times on Celebrity Jeopardy, Alex Trebek's mother is not a whore, and Turd Ferguson is a great name.
And now back to your regularly scheduled podcast. Alex Trebek, our hopes and prayers are with you. May you come out of this battle victorious.
It's that time again for America's #1 show, Dumb Shit of the Week. That's right, Dumb Shit of the Week is the show where DJ Melly Mel finds dumb stuff and we talk about it. You want your submission on the show? Just do something stupid and record yourself. You can find us on Twitter to send it to us at GiantLeap4Geeks, or you can email us at officialoglfg@gmail.com. Now here is your hostess with the mostest and the mostest hostess, Jostess, DJ Melly Mel.
Thank you. Love that wonderful intro. Okay, so this week's dumb shit kind of just came to me. It's real short, real sweet. The internet trending craze is the triangle dance. Triangle dance. Move over, flossers, because here comes the triangle dance. No. Now, this dance requires 3 people, and you stand with your hand on a friend's shoulder and then on the other friend's shoulder, so opposite shoulders.
Okay.
And then they essentially do the same. And you jump in between your friends. So if you're standing in a triangle...
So it requires 4 people.
No, it requires 3 people. You jump in between your friends, pushing on each other's shoulders. I figured you were going to give me that look.
Okay.
So...
Oh, no.
It looks like it takes a lot of coordination.
Oh, no.
I will never be able to do this dance, ever. I don't have that much coordination, even with 2 of the most coordinated people ever.
I feel like, just looking at this, I feel like this was some person's way of, like, copping a feel on somebody, low-key, and trying to make an excuse that we're dancing.
Like, oh, I'm going to touch your shoulders and bring you close to me.
Right. It's like jumping between us while my forearm smashes in your boobs and shit. Depending on the person's height, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. That's another thing. You'd have to have 3 people that were almost the same height, because if you had short people, it's not going to work so well.
So, you know what? You should have started this by saying it requires 3 virgins. Because... I would not be caught dead doing this shit with 2 other people, like, no.
Like I said, I don't have the coordination. I would attempt to jump between the 2, and I'd probably whack myself in the neck.
I don't even like doing a cha-cha slide, let alone the triangle dance.
Yeah, the triangle dance is not one that I'll be doing at my wedding. I'll pass, thank you. And I actually have a lot planned out, dumb dances-wise, for my wedding.
So has anybody copyrighted this yet? Like, who started this bullshit?
It just started popping up.
It had to originate from somewhere.
Yeah,
Somebody
couldn't find out where. They just started, like, I saw one video, and then I scrolled down, and 3 more followed.
Benwah, do you know by chance?
I would guess, since Instagram now can do videos, I would assume, I don't think it was something that just popped up on YouTube. It would have had to begin somewhere else. I'm guessing probably, like, Instagram.
Oh, I saw it on Facebook.
It was probably a TikTok app or something.
Probably something stupid.
I thought that, too, but I don't think TikTok videos are long enough to really record much.
But I mean, all you would need is about 10 seconds of that, though. And you would get it, and it would just play in a loop, so you'd get the...
I guess.
Well, the video that I found is about 10 seconds per group of friends that's doing this, and it's just a montage all put together.
I mean, honestly, I guess this is better than the get out your car while it's moving and get killed in traffic.
Yeah, much better than Kiki.
AKA the Kiki dance.
From the video that I found, we got old people doing this and young people doing this, and fathers and family members. So.
You know, I feel like it would only be appropriate if the safety dance song was playing as you were doing this.
Oh, yes.
I mean, that's just me, but, you know, as soon as I saw it, the first thing that came into my mind was, you can dance if you want to. You can leave your friends behind.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna have a lot of friends you get caught doing this shit.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, just imagine 3 people uncoordinated. How uncomfortable would it be if you're one of the 2 people that are in the same time and like your nuts just like
the video that I found starts out.
Yeah, like I wasn't thinking more about like I was thinking more like genitalia.
Or you just accidentally clothesline one of your friends and shit.
That would be me. I'd be the one getting clotheslined, or I'd be the one getting their foot stepped on, or stepping on people's foot.
Yeah.
This is not a dance. That is DJ Melly Mel safe. Trust me.
It's not a dance.
How clumsy I am.
I know it's not even a dance.
It's 3-person hopscotch. Like
yes, yes, that.
Or 4-square or some shit like that. This is like the evolution of some child.
Yeah, I didn't do those either because I wasn't coordinated.
This is advanced patty cake or some shit.
Yeah.
It's like it's not even.
Like the video that I found, it starts off near a pool. I'd be the one that would fall into the pool, like literally. So this.
Okay.
I think we have an origin.
Okay, we have our crack research team here at the Giant League for Geeks.
I got here, the dance originated on TikTok in February of 2019 before going viral on other social media sites in March of 2019. Thank you, T-Money. See, I figured, I'm like, it's gotta be from one of these, like, newfangled, you know, social networking apps. Yeah.
Okay, well, does it say whether these were from kids or, like, drunk adults?
No, it didn't give that much information. It just said that that's where it was first seen.
Based on what I've seen, it looks like drunk adults.
Really?
Well, they don't look like kids. They look.
But see, that's the thing. That's my thing. If I came up with some shit like this and knew I was gonna post it, I'd be like, no, we got to figure out a way to copyright this somehow, some way. Like, I need to figure out how to make, because everybody's doing it now,
Right?
And like, if you could get like the 3 biggest like YouTubers, like, I don't know, if you can get like PewDiePie, Ninja, and like Jake Paul to do the triangle dance together, it'd be 1 billion views overnight. I promise you.
But then again, I don't think you would need to trademark that because the internet is very self-contained in that if anybody did try to take credit for something somebody else posted, the backlash would be fucking huge. I mean, case in point, look at all the scrutiny the Fine Brothers when they tried to copyright reacts.
Yeah,
people shed all over that.
But with that though, people were already doing that. No, I've never seen anybody do this before. Like, this is totally, at least as far as what I've been exposed to. Maybe there's some variation of this that already existed, but I've never seen this before.
No, me neither.
Well, that's my point, because it seemed to have gone. You said this came in what, February, like last month or January?
Yeah,
since
February.
It's still so new, and it's getting viral real quick. I'm still sure there's plenty of information out there. If it was the first one to ever post this, if somebody did try and claim credit for it, shit would hit the fan.
Yeah, because so many people have already started doing it and catching it.
And there's not really a lot you can do in claiming that you own a dance. What are you going to do? Say I own this dance and nobody can dance this way? Because you can't treat that like you can music.
No, but I think that you could at least
You'd get recognized
swallow up
for
ad
it.
revenue from it.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, if you could get, like, if you got a big channel and you do that and they get a lot of views, it's like, I want a piece of that ad revenue you getting. Like, I'm not saying you can't do it, but you got to pay me for this shit.
Right.
but the second any person say you upload it yourself and you're already big so you can get ad revenue. In this capitalistic society, you can probably get away with that. But if anybody tried to claim at all in any way that they were the first people to do it, they would get sued their fucking lawsuits.
Fair enough.
Because, I mean, you don't necessarily have to own intellectual property if you have proof that somebody else has stolen it from you.
No. But that
But the
being
dance
said,
is still
though,
dumb.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, that being said, though, this dance is still dumb. And like I said, you should have prefaced it with, you need 3 virgins to do this, not 3 people, because, no.
So it's like a fertility dance, then. It's
Right.
Right.
See, but like I said, now, every
that's
time.
some pagan shit.
Yep, every time I see it now, or docking or something.
Yep,
every time I see it.
That wasn't done in no Utah or nothing. That was.
Right.
I don't know. These people look like they might be first cousins.
Yeah, I know, right?
I can
we
picture
did
it
this
now.
at
You got
family
like
reunions.
three guys or 3 girls who are just like, one of them's fucking shit-faced. and starts kind of jumping around because they like the music, and they're like, "Oh, wait a minute!" And like,
I'm
there
too
you
drunk
go.
for this. I need somebody to hold on to.
Right.
Exactly. I love you guys. And they were doing the hokey pokey and got confused, and next thing you know, they got. That's what it's all about.
It was too drunk to hug each other, and they missed, and then it just became a whole thing.
So that is this week's dumb shit. I look forward to finding more dumb shit on the internet because I can, and comes very clearly actually. If you have any questions or concerns or anything about how my process is for selecting dumb shit, you can always reach me on Twitter at FroggyBeaver. You can direct any and all questions to the show at officialoglfg.gmail.com. And yeah, look forward to further dumb shit coming to you next week.
I say, we can go where we want to, a place where they will never find. And we can act like we come from out of this world. Leave the real one far behind. Damn it, now it's stuck in my head.
Well, kids, all mediocre things must eventually come to an end.
Thank God.
And Arrow has been announced that it is officially ending with Season 8. I am getting this from superherohype.com. The announcement was accompanied by an official statement via IGN from series producers Greg Berlanti, Mark Guggenheim, and Ben Schwartz. This was a difficult decision to come to, but like every hard decision we've made for the past 7 years, it was with the best interest of Arrow in mind. We're heartened by the fact that Arrow has birthed an entire universe of shows that will continue on for many years to come.
Okay.
We're excited about crafting a conclusion that honors the show, its characters, and its legacy, and are grateful to all the writers, producers, actors, and more importantly, the incredible crew that has sustained us in the show for over 7 years. Now, Stephen Amell, the actor who plays Oliver Queen, he said, playing Oliver Queen has been the greatest professional experience of my life, but you can't be a vigilante forever. Arrow will return for a final run of 10 episodes this fall. There's so much to say. For now, I just want to say thank you. So yeah, Arrow is finally going to bite the dust, and I am not upset about that at all.
Not at all.
I have not watched Arrow since the Damien Dark season, and I was pretty much done with it after the whole Ra's al Ghul storyline in that season.
See, you've watched more than I have. I think I jumped ship episode 3.
Damn, in the first season?
Yeah.
The first season was actually pretty good, though, because he was actually killing motherfuckers in the first season, and I was down with that.
Maybe 4. I think I might have seen 4 episodes.
Yeah, and then by, like, season 2, they was like, oh, we can't have you murdering the bad guys and shit. We don't want you doing that. And it was like, fuck it, let them do it. Fuck, hell yeah. Shit,
it was too close to Smallville for me.
Oh, boo.
Like, I couldn't get into it because...
That'd be like saying Smallville was too close to Lois and Clark.
No.
What, because Arrow was in Smallville?
No, timeline-wise. Like, I got burnt out on Smallville.
Fair.
Then right at the end of Smallville, that's when Arrow hopped on and we got his own show. And I was already burnt out by the end of Smallville, so I couldn't hop on the Arrow train.
Any of these shows that go past season, like, 5, I'm pretty much like, I don't care no more. Like, whatever the show is.
Yeah.
It could be the best thing on TV. If Breaking Bad went past 5 seasons, I'd probably be like, I don't like this no more. Just because you run out of good stories.
It goes too long.
Like,
you get burnt out.
Yeah, like, there has to be a end point that makes sense. Because, especially when it's a series of movies, I think you can sometimes get away with it because there's time. There's a good, like, year or two that passes between each one.
Sure.
When it's like every 6 to 8 months there's a new season, I'm like, I haven't had time to want it again.
Right.
And at the same time, I don't feel like you've really done much new with the story to make me go like, yes, it's back. I couldn't wait.
Even as much as I love Gotham, I'm really glad that it's the end of Gotham. I think that it's run its course. It's done.
Yeah.
And as sad as I'm going to be to see it go, I'm really not.
Boo! No.
I'm really not. I'm really not. I know my brother is going to be very, very sad when he hears that the end of Arrow, because he likes Arrow and he likes
I did too in the beginning.
Flash, and he likes the all these spin-off stories.
No, but did you guys catch what they did in their announcement? Did you catch that? I just love how they just kind of low-key just threw shade on Arrow by saying, like, but the Flash and Supergirl and all that shit, we still gonna keep making those for many years to come.
Yeah.
Arrow, we just gave up on that shit, though.
Yeah.
Like, sorry. I'm like...
That's why I chuckled, because it ain't gonna last many, many years.
It may, but I'm like... It
gonna
just
hit season 7, season 8, and
sure,
it'll be done.
But it just felt like they have just relented to the fact that, we don't really care about Arrow no more, so we're not gonna even try. But hey, we still got tons of more Flash seasons coming down the pipe. You just wait. Don't you want to see some more speedsters? No. I've stopped watching Flash too. Like, I never really quite got on Supergirl train. It's not a bad show. It's just kind of
Nah.
But yeah, Flash, I'm like, man,
I'd like to see the Batgirl series, but at the same time,
I know that's the only one where I'm like, okay, I'll be
that's just
interested
because
in
it's
this.
new.
Honestly, I think they might have got rid of Arrow because Arrow was basically the Batman of that universe.
Right.
And now that they actually have Batwoman, it's like, okay, one of y'all gotta go.
Yeah. Flip a coin. Who's going to win? Rock, paper, scissors here.
But yeah, so sorry, CW Arrow fans. Your show is coming to an end, but that's the way the cookie crumbles, I guess. Because,
pretty much.
It had a good run for the first 3-4 seasons, I guess, and then the last 4 to 5 seasons, depending on if you like season 4 or not. Yeah, it just
Meh.
It's been downhill for a while, so and I don't want to hear you in the comments and shit bitching about, Felicity ruined the series and this, that, and the other because her and Oliver, people either loved or hated their relationship. I didn't care about none of that shit. That
Oh, I thought you were talking about Felicity, like the college chick from the other series. Okay.
Right.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, Calista
crossover.
Like
Flockhart
Carrie
on
Russell
this?
fucked up. Oh,
No,
okay. Carrie
right.
Russell ruined the show.
The crossover we've all been waiting for.
Yeah.
No. Felicity Smoke was the character's name. She was the receptionist or whatever. You only watched the first 3 episodes, so you probably don't remember enough. Anyway, moving on.
Please.
Wait, so you're telling me Arrow is being cancelled, but Legends of Tomorrow is still a thing?
I was trying to think of what I was going to do at the beginning of this one. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't have anything.
Okay.
There you go. That's my cold open. So, we have a movie review for you this week for the much anticipated and highly debated Captain Marvel. Now, I have T-Money and DJ Melly Mel here joining me to do this review. Now, if you have not heard one of our reviews before, we do the mullet style. Our mullet style reviews mean that we are non-spoilers in the front and spoilers at the back. So we will give our general thoughts about the movie, just kind of talk about it in generalizations. We will try our best not to spoil anything and give you our rating. Our rating system is 5 tiers. It goes from really fucking liked it, meh, hated it, and really fucking hated it. Once we get that out of the way, we will go into spoiler territory. We will make it very obvious when we do go into spoilers, so don't worry. If you haven't seen the movie, you will know once we get there. If you want to continue listening on, that is your prerogative, but you have been warned. Now, it's going to be hard to talk about this movie and not talk about the controversy surrounding the movie. Now, I don't know how much you guys know about what had gone on before.
No.
No?
None,
Okay.
None, really. Or
Well,
at least I don't know.
Well, there was
He might come out of left field with something, but
maybe. There was a boycott of the movie for a vocal minority of people who were upset because the main actress, Brie Larson, she was in an interview a while back, and she was talking about the movie A Wrinkle in Time.
Okay.
And she was talking about wanting more inclusion in critics and reviewers and, you know, asking for more people of color and women and stuff like that to give their thoughts about these kinds of movies. And she said something to the effect of, I don't need some 40-year-old white dude to tell me what he felt about A Wrinkle in Time because the movie wasn't made for him. And some people got really upset about that and felt that Brie Larson was attacking white males and that she had some kind of stigma against them. And she also was saying that she wanted to see more women and people of color at her press junkets when she goes and does interviews about the movies and stuff like that. And people felt like it was an attack on men and white men specifically because there's never going to be enough seats at the table for everyone to be included. So then if you want more of some other group of people to be involved, then that means that someone else is going to have to get kicked out, i.e. white men. So there was this whole big controversy around that, and people were upset and boycotting the movie and yada, yada, yada. That being said, the movie made $153 million over the weekend, so it's like...
That didn't stop.
No,
We went to opening night.
Yeah.
And we had to pre-order tickets. We
Yep.
got the last show, the very last 2 seats together.
Sure.
And the entire theater was sold out.
Yep.
And a bunch of 40-year-old white men in there.
That it was actually funny too because I was reading somewhere that either 55 to 60% of the audience were male that went to go see the movie this weekend. So I don't think that detracted too many people. Like I said, it was a vocal minority, but they were very vocal about it. And to play devil's advocate to some degree, I can kind of sort of understand the point that they're trying to make because I get what she was saying. I think it could have been worded a bit better because, to be fair, if, let's say, Leonardo DiCaprio was giving a speech and he was like, well, I don't need some 40-year-old Latino woman to tell me what she felt about, I don't know, fucking, what was that movie, the singy song movie that Leonardo DiCaprio was in?
I have no idea.
The Great Gatsby. That movie,
okay.
yeah. I'm like, if he'd got up there and said, I don't need some, 40-year-old Latino woman telling me what she felt about The Great Gatsby, it wasn't made for her, people would be upset at that. So to reverse what she said for a different gender and race, I could see how that could be problematic. I get what point she was trying to make, but I do think it could have been worded better. But to be like, I'm boycotting the movie and she hates white men and all that shit, that's just being ridiculous.
Man, people get butthurt over any little thing these days anyway, so,
That is absolutely right. That is fair. But that being said, there was a lot of drama surrounding this, and we're going to kind of sort of touch on it a little bit here, but to be honest, spoiler alert, there's not a lot of... Because people were worried, this is going to be some man-hating, feminist, woman power, this, that, and the other. There's a lot of woman-empowering themes in the movie.
Yeah.
But I never thought it was, like, going out of his way to be like, fuck men and cut your dicks off and, all that kind of shit.
Not at all.
No, or men are dumb and wrong or... No, not at all. That being said... The plot, the story is set in the mid-90s. Captain Marvel, she crash lands on Earth after one of her missions that she's on goes wrong. And now she must save the Earth from the Skrull invasion while still trying to find out about her past. I'm sorry, I can't breathe.
I thought you were leading up to being a little disappointed with that.
No. After all the controversy around the film, it does have some messages of women empowerment and some other topical things. I don't feel that it's too overt, but that's just how I took it. Now, I remember once before when we talked about the movie, the Jordan Peele movie, Get Out, and about how you didn't pick up on some of the themes that I had said that I saw in the movie.
Right.
in this case, did you pick up on some of the political themes that were talked about in this and the kind of feminist themes that were in the movie this time?
I think I did a little more on a few of the feminist points.
Okay.
I mean, as a woman who has looked for a woman lead role similar to Wonder Woman.
Sure.
I mean, I kind of went in not really looking for themes like that,
sure,
but expecting to find them.
Okay.
Just out of, all of the hype that was put around this movie, and it is Carol Danvers, and she is a female superhero, and I don't know. Not like I expected it, but I anticipated it.
Okay. What about you, T-Money?
Yeah, I picked up on some stuff, and that's like out of the norm for me because I don't usually pick up on shit. I just watched the movie, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But
fair.
yeah, I picked up on a few things that happens in the movie that I'll talk about on the back half of the mullet.
Okay.
Because they'll kind of give away some stuff, but I mean,
sure.
I picked up on a few things.
I felt like there was kind of anti-Trump message, kind of sort of in there a little bit. And when we get to spoilers, I can further elaborate. But there's some. I'll put it this way: the wall is kind of worked in there a little bit, and I was just like, oh, okay, I didn't expect that, but okay. That being said, though, all the action scenes and all the superhero stuff in the movie, I thought was mostly well done.
Mm-hmm.
I did have some minor issues. There were some weak points I felt here and there. Like, some of the fight scenes I thought could have been shot a little bit better, especially towards the beginning, because it was kind of muddled what was happening when she was fighting the Skrulls on the ship, and I'm just like, I'm not really sure who she just hit right there, and it wasn't bad. It was okay.
Right.
And I feel guilty comparing it to some of the more recent Marvel movies because they've kind of had time to learn to get past that kind of stuff and get better at it. But at the same time, this is the 21st Marvel movie, so it's not like they made this 10 years ago. It's like, y'all had all these other movies to look back at and be like, okay, we got to do it better than this.
Right.
Maybe they was using cameras and shit from the 90s.
Right. They said we got to make this legit 90s all the way down to the editing and filming it, the whole thing.
I do have to say, kudos for the 90s soundtrack, because it even had T-Money. He's like, yeah, that's a really dope soundtrack. And I'm like, all 90s music.
Yep.
And he makes fun of me for enjoying 90s music, so.
There was... I didn't have a problem with soundtrack overall until towards the very end, where they have that second to last fight scene, and a certain No Doubt song comes on, and I was just like, okay, that's too much, man. Like, y'all didn't have to put that in there. I'm like, and I mean, this isn't really a spoiler, so I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. They play "I'm Just a Girl" towards the end during a fight, and I'm like, did you really need to? Okay. It's like, I get it. I just felt like it was a little bit too much. I'm like, okay. Wonder Woman would have never pulled that bullshit. I'm just putting that out there.
That's true. You're right.
They're making a Wonder Woman 1984 movie, too, so we'll see what they do soundtrack-wise. Oh, I'm sure, but I seriously doubt that they're going to have, like...
Girls just want to...
Right.
Something stupid
maybe,
like that.
I don't know, now that you say that, maybe. Some executive, they heard this shit. He was like, oh my God, call the director, put this in there.
No.
What did you guys feel about, like, the special effects, though? I'm going to tell you straight up. The final battle with Carol, I thought there were some parts in space that she looked a little rubbery.
Uh-huh.
But the practical effects are what bothered me the most. Like, that, I'm sorry, man, the Skrulls just look terrible. Like, they do. They just look like they in fucking Halloween makeup. Like, it just looks bad.
They kind of reminded me of back in the day with the cone head makeup.
Yeah, man, it was. Yes, because I don't. There was no excuse for this shit. After we got Thanos, you can't go backwards now.
Right.
You can't start putting motherfuckers in rubber ears and shit. Like, they should have been CG, like, the whole way.
Agreed.
Now, granted, they had to do de-aging on Sam Jackson and the guy who played Agent Coulson, and then they had all the Super Saiyan shit with Captain Marvel, so maybe they just felt like, okay, we can't spend a bunch of money on the Skrulls, too. And then they had them transforming and all that shit, so there's, special effects in that, but them being in the makeup, in the teeth, in the ears, and I'm just like, could you actually, when they were, there's a scene where the Skrulls are talking off screen, but you don't actually see their faces yet?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Could you actually understand what they were saying during that scene?
It was muddled.
Not really.
It was real muddled.
I had the hardest time. I'm like, I know he's saying something.
Well, I don't know what the fuck's going on right now.
It's some fucking teeth, man. It was kind of my issue I had with Bohemian Rhapsody. There was some parts where I'm like, what did he just say? I'm like, I can't. No, help me here.
I'm too old for this.
Right. I'm like, look, what, Sonny? So yeah, that special effect wise.
Was it just me, or did the Skrulls look different from
the trailers?
Well, not just the trailers, but we've seen the Skrulls previously.
In the MCU?
Yeah, weren't they in Thor?
No.
No?
No, those are those elf motherfuckers.
Oh.
No, they just have the same ears. But
okay,
no.
gotcha.
All these could be alien races, all right? No, they don't all look alike.
No,
there's alienism going on.
Right, I know.
Oh my god, that is not where
Alienist.
I just thought that we had heard or seen mention of the Skrulls prior.
No, and
I think they just looked like.
Oh, just so just because they all look alike.
Right. And though there
I'm
is
done with you.
there is some stuff with the Skrulls we're going to talk about a little bit later because I'm very interested to hear what you guys thought about what they did with those.
But I mean, they did look different from the trailer.
Yeah.
That was.
I mean, a little bit better, but not
much.
And like I said, all that shit in their mouth and all that, like they could have just CG'd his teeth or something. Like you didn't have to. I don't know. That being said, I think that the pacing of the film is a little bit clunky, and it kind of dragged on at points.
Yeah.
The first third moves at a pretty good clip. Like, it's like boom, boom, boom. You get to Earth, and then it seems like once we get to Earth, the movie just stops. And I'm just like, okay, where did all that momentum from the beginning go?
Right.
I had the same problem with this movie that I had with the first Thor. Where all the shit in Asgard, I was with it. And then as soon as he came to Earth, I was like, okay, this is not what I came here to see. I live on Earth. I know what it's like here. I don't want to spend time here. The Guardians of the Galaxy movies got it right. They show Peter on Earth when he's a kid for like a little 5-minute flashback, then boom, we to space and we never go back. And it's like, that's what I was wanting. I knew she was going to spend a good chunk on Earth, but I was hoping that the majority of the movie didn't take place on Earth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, I already lived through the 90s. I know what that's like.
Right, or at least if you're going to be on Earth, make it as interesting as the stuff you did when you were in space still.
Sure.
Because they stop the movie and sit down and have lunch at a Denny's and shit, and they just talking and asking 20 questions to each other and shit, and I'm just like, what is happening right now? I'm like, it's funny little banter back and forth. Like the whole diagonal toast joke, I thought that was funny that Sam Jackson talks about and trying to prove he's not a Skrull and all that. That was cool. But that scene is like 20 minutes long, man. And I'm just like, what is happening? And okay. When T-Money first texted me and told me that you guys had went and seen it, he was saying that how he thought it was really funny and the jokes and stuff. There was one joke in there that I rolled my eyes so hard at. When she comes out of the Blockbuster, right? The Blockbuster joke was funny because I get it, it's the 90s or whatever. And she's like, well, where's your communication station or whatever? And he points, and then the camera pans over to a Radio Shack. And I was like, man, okay.
I lost it. I thought that was hilarious.
I just felt that the jokes were too close together. Like, if there would have been a Radio Shack joke, like, later in the movie, I would have appreciated it more. But it was like, you literally just walked out of the Blockbuster, And then the very next thing that happens is Radio Shack joke, and I'm like, okay, like that's enough.
No, they should have pointed to a payphone and been like, look, there it is.
Which she does use a payphone
yeah,
right
she
after that.
Payphone,
yeah, so that's like 3 in a row.
The payphone at the Radio Shack.
Man, it's like boom, 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 boom. It's like they had a checklist. Okay, what happened? What existed in the 90s? Blockbuster, Radio Shack, payphones, pagers, what else?
Horrible
Nirvana.
internet.
Right. She wears a 9 Inch Nails shirt and everything else, and I'm just like, the
dial-up.
grunge plaid shirt tied around her waist. I thought that they leaned a little bit too hard into the 90s stuff, but
I liked it, but I was born in the 90s, and
sure.
I like that nostalgia thing.
And like I said, I mean, it was a minor annoyance. That didn't detract from my enjoyment of the movie.
It's not your Venom yet.
No. That being said, I've been kind of beating around the bush, but I'm going to get to probably the most controversial part of the review, from my perspective at least.
Mm-hmm.
Brie Larson herself. I thought she was okay.
Yeah.
Like, not great.
Yeah.
Not bad. Just kind of okay.
Meh.
Like, it was... Yeah. You know, that's about all I got. I thought she was funny. I liked her little quips. I thought she was kind of snarky and stuff like that. But there was also times where she was very stoic and distant and...
Had that deer in the headlights look?
Kind of, and just didn't... Because the whole movie, with her character arc at least, all the characters keep saying to her, you have to let go of your emotions. Your emotions are clouding your judgment. You're too emotional. You this, that, and the other, and you're not thinking clearly, yada, yada, yada. They keep saying that, but I didn't feel like she was overly showing any emotion one way or another. If anything, I thought she was kind of repressing her emotions for most of the movie.
Yeah.
See, what I had picked up on it was that they didn't want her to be able to use her powers because they was actually against her. Like, you know what I'm saying? They didn't want her to get to
like
her
lose
full
control or some
to
shit.
get
Yeah.
to her full
her
potential.
emotion is what unlocks it.
Kind of, sort of, but I mean, just in general, because when they go on their first mission, they talk about how they're trying to go after the objective, and she's ready to like just run in and go, and he's like, hey, calm the fuck down, like we gonna do it this way, yada yada.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and when he's training her, he keeps talking about like, you gotta focus, you're letting your emotions get the best of you. But the only emotion she ever really showed me was just her being angry. I mean, there's a scene where she cries, I think, towards the end, and she has kind of an emotional moment when she reunites with her friend from the Air Force and all that, but other than that, I didn't get, it was just kind of like, all right, I guess. Like, I felt like the Mantis chick from Guardians of the Galaxy gave me more emotion than Carol did. I was like, and she's a comedic character. I felt like Carol shined the most when she was in scenes with Sam or Ben Mendelsohn as the villain, you know, the main Skrull. But when it was just her on her own or with other minor characters, I was just kind of bored. I was just like, well, you know, they're talking. Like, you know, I'm just all right. That's why I think it was a good idea that Sam Jackson, because I was surprised at how much of a role he played in the movie, because he was much more of a main character than a supporting character than I thought he was going to be.
Yeah, because usually he just pops up every now and then. It's like, bam, I'm here. All
Right,
I'm
says some
gone.
badass shit and then walks off.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in a good chunk of this movie. And I was like,
he had a lot.
Like, now I see why you on the poster, because you are pretty much a secondary character.
Right.
Yeah.
That being said, speaking of Sam Jackson, he is great, as always, obviously. Like I said, he is more of a main character than he's a supporting character. I'm going to be sad when they finally do kill off his character, or when Sam gets too old to keep doing this shit, but...
I'm going to be sad when they kill them all off.
Yeah.
You know, we've had Marvel movies for, 10 years now?
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to go forever.
No. Speaking of which, I am so angry. I had to go to the bathroom right before the movie started. So when I came back, the first thing I saw when I walked back through the doors was Carol waking up on the spaceship. So I did not see the Stan Lee tribute at the beginning. I know what it is.
Oh man!
But I didn't get a chance to see it. Sorry, I guess spoilers, not really, but there's a Stan Lee tribute at the beginning of the movie, and I missed it. I've read descriptions. I know what they did, but I didn't actually get to see it.
And that was one of the things that I liked. I thought it was really unique that they did the tribute at the beginning of the movie, because it's usually always at the end.
Right.
So whenever
like in loving memory or some shit.
So whenever it popped up at the very beginning of the movie, and we all started clapping and everything, and I was like, that was cool, because they did it at the beginning of the movie and not at the end.
Yeah, and I'm really disappointed that I missed that. So
yo, weak ass bladder.
I know. I'm like, God damn it, man! I'm so mad.
You're supposed to do that before you go to the movie.
We actually went to dinner before, and I had drank a bunch of water.
Okay.
And then
you gotta pass the bathrooms on your way in.
We were sitting there because we got there a little bit earlier than I thought, so we sat there for like 20 minutes of commercials and trailers and the little quiz show and shit. And it didn't hit me until right before when I left the movie. It hadn't even gone dark yet.
It's like a car
It was still
trip.
during the ad.
Like a car trip. You're supposed to go before you get into the theater.
I know.
Pot talking to the kettle there, bro.
I know, right?
Go before we leave.
Shit.
It's not my fault that I get cold and have to go again.
I did, so speaking of, because going back to the villain, Ben Mendelsohn as the Talos is his name? Talos, something like that. I think it's Talos. What did you guys think of him as far as his character? I mean, I thought he was a good villain.
Yeah. I mean,
we're not gonna understand what he was saying, but
right. I liked him. I think he played the role well.
I thought he was kind of funny too.
Yeah.
Because he was talking some shit low key.
Yeah, he was.
Because there's a part where I don't want to give it away, but there's a part where a character asks, "Is this normal?" when they're going to a destination, and they're like, "Yeah," and he's like shaking his head like, "No." He's like, "No, this shit ain't normal." I thought he was kind of funny, and then he shows up at some point with, I don't know, some Wendy's or some shit, and he drinking out a cup and shit, and I was just like, where the fuck did you just come from with this shit? I was like, all right, whatever, man.
Said, I got to hook up with Dave, all right?
I guess, man, because he just got fucking milkshake and shit, and I'm just like, what is happening right now? Like, got a suit on and shit, and I'm like, okay. But I thought he was a good villain, and I liked I was really surprised at what they did with his character. Like, I was like, oh, this is interesting. I wouldn't have guessed this from the trailers or anything.
I kind of, you know how they did with Jude Law's character.
Yeah.
That kind of shocked me a little bit too.
Yeah. Not completely, because there was always something about him where I was just kind of like, I don't know about you.
I knew something was off, but
yeah.
For it to do what it did, I was like, whoa, all right.
But I mean, overall, do you think that this is a good follow-up to Infinity War? Because, well, not an immediate follow-up, because we did have Ant-Man and the Wasp in between Infinity War and this. So then it was Ant-Man and the Wasp, so it went Infinity War, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Captain Marvel, and then we get an Endgame. So, like, do you think that this was a good direct movie right before Endgame? Like, does this kind of help you lead into that next movie, or are you kind of like,
I thought they could have did more. Like,
I agree.
I was expecting like just a bam in your face kind of thing, and they didn't really play into it as much as I thought they was gonna. Like, they did a few things that kind of led from the previous Avengers to this one, but not as much as what I was expecting going into the movie.
I agree. I wanted more, especially for how much they had talked her character up about how she's the strongest of all the Avengers, and I'm thinking I'm thinking that end scene was going to be like the entire movie where we just going to be just fireballs and shit, and I'm just like, not really. There's a lot of running.
It was a fucking beeper. Yeah.
Right. And motherfuckers cracking jokes, washing dishes and shit, and I'm just like, what are we doing, guys?
Right.
Like, come on, like, pick this shit up. Let's go.
Even the stingers, they weren't.
There's one good stinger, and there's one stinger where I was like,
what the fuck is this?
I could have done without that one.
like there ain't no need to wait for this shit. No,
because we already know the events of that stinger.
Right,
so
right.
There's really no point for it.
Right, which we're gonna get to it in a second in spoilers, but there's a MacGuffin in the movie where I was like, wait, so how did you get this, and when did this happen in the timeline? Because didn't this person have it at this time, and then later this person? I'm like, okay. So, yeah, there's some shit that goes on in this movie.
Very confused for some part.
Yeah, where I was just like, how did you end up with... Okay, I was like, whatever, we'll figure it out.
I guess we're going to figure it out.
Right. I do want to say, though, I think that people are being too extreme about this movie, whether it's one way or the other. I think some people are overly praising this movie as, like, the best MCU film that's ever been made. I literally saw somebody say that they like this better than Infinity War, and I was like, get the fuck out.
There's the door.
Right. And then other people are denouncing it as, like, it's a total failure. Like, it's neither of those. It's just okay. To me personally.
Yeah.
Like, if you went in and you super enjoyed the movie a whole lot, more power to you, but I'm just giving my honest opinion, I did not think that it was one way or the other extreme.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm in the middle on it.
Yeah.
Like,
I have a double rating for our rating scale. I was like, I liked it. Yeah.
So real quick, I wanted to talk about, because I was curious about how other people felt about this. So leading up to the movie, I said, with all the controversy around Brie Larson, this weekend Captain Marvel premieres. Are you going to see it? If not, tell us why. We had 161 votes. 74% of the people said hell yes. 13% said hell no. And then another 13% said, what's a Captain Marvel? So,
oh my God.
So I just threw that one in there because I thought it would be funny.
Shit.
And then after the movie, I said, we saw Captain Marvel, and our movie review will be out on Wednesday. Until then, which we're recording right now. Until then, without spoilers, how did you feel about the film? Did you enjoy it? Tell us your thoughts. And we got 159 votes. 51% said hell yes, they enjoyed it. 9% said hell no. 28% said it was alright. And 12% said what's an opinion. So I think we may be on the lower end of the minority here. I mean, I think just judging from what we've all said, none of us dislike the movie.
No, I mean, I enjoyed it, but I wouldn't.
It wasn't over the top for me.
No, not at all.
So we'll go ahead and let the proverbial cat out of the bag. What's going to be your rating?
I'm gonna put it at a meh.
Okay.
Like, I was expecting more, especially this being the last movie before we get Endgame.
Right, and to tie directly into Endgame.
Yeah, I'm just expecting more, or I was expecting more, and I just didn't get it. But I didn't dislike it either.
Sure.
Like, if it was on TV or something, I'd be like, oh, hey, we can watch that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll probably buy the DVD just because I have all the superhero DVDs.
Sure.
Meh.
Real quick, does this make you more or less excited to see her interact with the other characters in the universe now?
I want to see more of her and her interaction with the others. Mm-hmm. How they're going to tie her in, especially with that one stinger that we got, the first stinger.
Sure.
At the same time, it's gonna have to be big, because at this point I'm just in between for her.
Okay. What about you, T-Money?
Yeah, it kind of makes me more excited to see how they're gonna put her in with everybody else, just because they didn't do a whole lot with her in this movie. So right. I'm like, all right, well, maybe they're leading up to something really big in the next one.
Right. Now, does this make you want to see a sequel? Like, would you be excited to see Captain Marvel 2 or Captain Marvel Captains Again, or whatever the fuck they would call it?
I'd be, like, I would go see it,
sure.
But it's not like, oh my God, I can't wait for them. Like, whenever, like, when we were leaving the theater from Black Panther, I was like, man, I can't wait till part 2 comes out, you know?
Right.
This one, I haven't thought about a part 2 until you just said something about a part 2.
He's like, oh shit, they might make another one. Fuck.
Yeah, they might.
So you would be at a meh as well?
Yeah, I'm at meh. Like, I didn't hate it, but it wasn't as good as I was hoping for all the hype around it.
Yeah. I think that they advertised this movie like it was an Avengers movie, but we basically got like another Ant-Man movie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that was about as close as I can compare it to. Like, they hyped it up like it was going to be like she was just going to, by the end of it, just punch through the screen and choke the shit out of Thanos in the movie theater, and you were just going to be like, oh shit, but when you actually watch it, it was like, this could have been fucking, do you remember the Hercules TV show from back in the day when Xena was on and all that shit?
Yeah.
It felt like a really big budget episode of that. Like, it wouldn't like, I was like, all right, I guess.
I think of it kind of in a comparison to like to fireworks. Like, whenever you think of fireworks, you're like, oh man, this is gonna be the big cannon at the end. And in reality, it was like the Black Cat, you know? Like,
Fair. Yeah, you get a couple sparklers and shit, maybe a Roman candle if you're lucky.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow.
Where's the stuff that goes boom?
Yeah.
I only like snakes and sparklers.
Right. Sorry, we done burnt it up all up, kid.
yeah.
All right, so that is our review. Just to recap, we all gave it a meh. Don't kill us in the comments. We all enjoyed the movie, but we were nonplussed about it.
It did not exceed our expectations.
No. And I want to make it clear, too, that we are not saying that the movie had to be the best thing ever to be good, because I feel like people are being kind of unfair to this movie in some respects, kind of like they were with Black Panther, because it's like, if it's not the best thing, it's like it has to work harder to be accepted because it is a woman or minority-led movie, where it's like it has to be the best thing ever, or people are going to be like, oh, it's shit. It never needed to be the best thing ever, but the way it was presented, like, that's what we were going for, and I just felt like it kind of just landed just past mediocre. That's not necessarily saying it's bad, but it didn't do anything new or anything where I was just like, oh my God. Like, there's no one moment in the movie where I just was in my seat like, holy shit.
Yeah.
There's a couple cool parts, but nothing that where I was just like, wow, that was just really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, even Ant-Man and the Wasp had some cool. When she made the salt shaker really big, I was like, there was nothing in there that just made me go like, wow, like that's really cool, and just made that part of my kid brain spark my imagination again and go like, wow, this was fun.
Yeah.
So I mean, it is what it is.
And it's funny that you had said the way you had worded it just now about like it, with it being a woman-led role, that it has to work harder and stuff like that. Like, I don't even have that perspective going into the movie. You
right.
know, I'm just like, all right, cool. It's gonna be a good movie. You know.
Right.
Like,
I just want to see a movie.
I just want to see the movie. I don't care if it's a woman or a dude or if they're straight or gay. Or
right.
whatever.
Right. It's like
I just want to see the movie.
Give a shit. Right. One way or another. So that being said, that is our review. Now we are going to go into spoilers. So if you don't want to be spoiled and you haven't seen the movie yet, get the fuck out of here. If you have seen it, right, then stick around because we are going into spoilers. So insert siren sound here. I am finna flip my shit for about 5 seconds.
All right.
The way Nick Fury loses his eye is bullshit. Bullshit. Because they kept trying to build it up. Because they tease you earlier in the movie when he gets into that car accident and he cuts his eye.
Yeah.
And it's that same eye that he loses. And I'm like, oh, is this how it's going? And I'm like, no, it ain't that. And then later I'm thinking like, oh, when they got him captive, I'm like, the Skrulls are going to do something to him and torture him.
Yeah.
Right. Punch his eye out or do some crazy shit.
Melt it with something.
It's the fucking cat. It's Goose. Scratches his eye. Which I call bullshit because back in Captain America, the Winter Soldier, when he's talking to Cap, then they're arguing about the drones and shit like that at S.H.I.E.L.D. And Fury says to him, the last time I trusted someone, I lost an eye. And ever since that movie, everybody's like, oh, how did he lose his eye? Because no one's never really... Right, but it's like, that is not what you think of when you think... When someone says something like that, you're like, oh, he got betrayed by one of his, like, they was on a spy mission or some shit. Man, man.
They got scratched by the cat.
All the scenes with Goose were funny, though.
Yeah, they were hilarious.
Like, I will give him that.
Like whenever he first gets introduced to the damn cat, and he's over there behind Brie Larson, and he's like, "Hey, come on, kitty, you get the good kitty."
She's like, "Yo, get your ass off the fucking floor and come on."
Like, we got people after us and shit right now, and you want to be playing with the cat.
I like when they get in the spaceship and they're scanning all of them, and it's like, oh, human, not very dangerous.
Right.
And then they scan the cat, and it says, it's not really a cat.
Or it's like threat level high and shit, and it's like, yeah.
Like, it's a cat.
I liked. That was one of the other things that made me like Ben Mendelsohn was how he kept reacting to the cat and shit. When he kept like doing this to him, he's like, "Man, quit playing with that shit. Like, get the fuck away from me, man." Like, it was really funny and all that fun stuff. And I liked what he did in the action scene where he eats the guards and shit, and he eats the Tesseract and all that. All that stuff was really fun. That being said, though,
we didn't need that part at the end where they fucking cat throws up the...
Yes. So that's what I was referring to earlier when I was talking about how did this happen with this.
Yeah.
The Tesseract. So, as far as the timeline that I understand goes, the Tesseract was discovered back in the 30s or whatever, back during Captain America's first movie with Red Skull and the Nazis.
Right.
They had the Tesseract first.
Right.
When Cap gets frozen in the ice, I assumed that the Tesseract was there with him because we don't see it again until the end of the first Thor movie where the Doctor, Nick Fury, shows it to him and he's like, "Oh, this is the Tesseract, this unlimited power. We can figure out how to harness this, yada, yada, yada." And then we see it again in the first Avengers movie because that's what Loki's after.
Right.
At some point, I guess, in between the first Captain America and the Avengers, the lady from the Air Force had it, who apparently is Captain Marvel, who is a Kree soldier, because in the comics, Marvel is a guy, and a lot of people were thinking that Jude Law's character was going to be him, but they did a gender swap and made it a woman. So, there's that. And so she had it. And I'm like, oh, okay, but so how does S.H.I.E.L.D. get it past that? But then the cat pukes it on the desk, and it's like, oh, okay, I guess we needed that.
Not really, because it made me shiver and gag.
Another thing I'm going to bitch about here real quick.
All right, here you go.
I feel like spoilers is just my time to just completely bitch, because I feel like that's what I end up doing every time we do one of these reviews. Anyway, I felt like there was moments of explaining shit that nobody was asking questions to. For example, Nick Fury's eye. Sure, I kind of wanted to know how he lost his eye, but if that was going to be the answer, y'all could have just left that question unanswered.
Leave it to the imagination.
Thank you. I did not need to know where the name Avengers came from. That bugged the shit out of me when he was like sitting on the computer. He's like the Protector Initiative, and then he sees the picture of Carol, and it's like Carol Avenger Danvers, and he's like, erase Avengers, and they start playing the music and shit, and I'm like, no. I'm like,
I thought that was cool that he like took her namesake, but the way that he fucking typed on that computer with the one finger.
Oh, yeah. It was the 90s. I mean,
I still
whatever.
wanted to lose my shit. I hate when people type like that. I'm like, oh my god, put your hands on the damn keys.
Or, another thing that I did not need to know, like, it was just kind of like unnecessary and kind of dumb, was the pager that he uses at the end of the Infinity War. Okay, and now it shows up again in the Stinger at this, which they show a little bit of in-game from, where, they're like, hey, he was paging somebody, like, we want to know who the fuck that is, and she shows up at the very end, which I was like, oh, I got all excited, and I was like, damn it, I gotta wait till the end of April. But I didn't get, like, at what point, like, we didn't actually need to see her give it back to him, or this, that, and the other, but I was like, when during all this crazy shit that was happening, did she have time to fucking trick out his little cheap-ass Motorola pager and make it into some intergalactic space pager.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it only took her a very short time to be able to wire the fucking payphone onto her shit so she could
she
talk
got
to
holograms
everybody.
and shit. I'm like, huh?
Off of the man, I wish I'd have been able to do that with a payphone back in the day.
Right. the number, I was like, wow, that was funny. I guess that's fair.
I like when the little girl's helping her pick out the colors for the...
Yeah, I thought that was a
That
sweet,
was
cute
pretty
little
cool.
moment.
She's like,
I like that.
Can't wear these colors anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Or like whenever the little girl's talking to her mama, and she's like, "Well, you have to go because what kind of example would you be setting for your daughter?"
I thought that was funny.
That reminded me of one of your nieces.
Yeah, I could see. I could see her doing that.
I did like the reveal though that the Skrulls were not necessarily the bad guys in this.
Yeah.
And then I was kind of worried too because the reason that people were excited about the Skrulls being introduced into this movie was because the Skrulls are the villains from the Secret Invasion storyline in the comics.
Right.
And if you're not familiar with Secret Invasion, it is revealed that a lot of the superheroes that we have grown to know and love have been Skrulls this whole time. So, like, for example, Captain America is revealed to be a Skrull, or, say, Nick Fury is a Skrull, or even Spider-Man is a Skrull. Not every superhero is, but a good chunk of them are actually aliens, and they're like sleeper agents who've been just pretending to be these people until the invasion starts, and then they reveal their true selves, and everything goes to shit. With the way they were portraying them in this, I don't know if they're ever going to do that now. Because that's what I was thinking would happen after Endgame, is that you'd find out that...
They were all Skrulls.
Like, say, for example, Cap dies by the end of Endgame, or Iron Man dies.
Yeah.
And then they turn back to their Skrull form, and then you're like, holy shit. And then going forward, you could be like, well, who else, among us might be a Skrull as well? And then kind of start to have division between the characters, and maybe even have a second Civil War, because it's like, well, we can't trust each other, because how do I know that y'all motherfuckers are even human? I was like, that would be something cool and interesting, because one of the best parts in this movie was when Fury finds out Coulson is a Skrull when he's in the car with him.
Right.
Like, that was a cool scene.
Yeah.
But I'm like, they're kind of portraying them to be the victims in this. And I was like, I didn't know how I felt about that.
I don't know. I like I like the fact that the Skrulls were, in the end, they turned out to be the good guys.
Sure.
And that not so bad guys, I guess.
Well, yeah, I guess good-ish guys, yeah.
Better than what they were portrayed originally.
They were layered. Because it's kind of like saying how even during Nazi Germany, not all the Germans were Nazis. You know what I'm saying? So, like, hey, there's bad people in this group, and then there's good people.
Right.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. What'd you think?
Let me first start by saying I could definitely see Iron Man's ass as a Skrull.
Oh my God, here we go. Will you get it off of it? Tony Stark is not a Skrull.
Watch.
You hate on Iron Man all the time.
It's because he's a Skrull.
Nice.
But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not familiar with like the origins and stuff.
Sure.
Because I didn't like read comic books and stuff growing up.
Sure.
But like I liked how they put the little twist on it though. Like as a modern day fan, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
Like I liked how they had played it out, but from the beginning, I had already got a feeling that whenever she was training and they was trying to get her to be able to just conquer her anger and everything like that.
Yeah, because you were saying that
like,
they were trying to manipulate her.
I was like, man, something's off with this dude. I was like, I think they not good for her. And then right after that, whenever they was in the scene, whenever they was going to infiltrate and everything with their little mission that they was going on, and he was like just trying to hold her back so much, and so I was like, man, I don't like this dude.
Yeah, there was something slimy about Jude Law's character the whole movie. It was like, it was just everything that he said. He just came off like you would like drug her and do some shit to her at a club. And some shit.
Be like, he would be on an episode of Criminal Minds,
right.
of Avenger version, you know?
Right. Oh, The other thing that I did enjoy was or that I liked how they did it. I don't necessarily think it needed to be in there, but when I made the reference to the Trump shit in this, in the wall, because the Skrulls, their whole thing is they want to steal this Lightspeed engine so they can find a new home because the Kree destroyed their people and their home and they need somewhere to go now.
Right.
And there's one point where the Kree are talking and they say something about like, and you were able to keep these refugees from infiltrating our borders and this, that, and the other. And I was like, ooh, yeah. I was like, y'all went a little too political right there. Cause I was like, I get it. Mm-hmm. I get what they're trying to do. I just felt it was a little bit on the nose, just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a teeny tiny bit. Cause it's like, these fucking Mexicans, I mean, Skrulls, we can't have them coming, like, basically is what they did. Yeah.
They here illegally.
Right. it's basically
They're
what.
aliens.
Yeah, what
taking
happened.
all our superhero jobs.
Oh, shit, bringing back coal mines. Like, oh, Jesus. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of.
Ben doesn't do the reviews with us.
Yeah, because he went on a whole rant about that shit.
We gotta put a Skrull tax in here.
Right. But I mean, and then like the other things about how like the biker when he's like, oh, sweetie, you should smile more, and this, that, and the other when she steals his motorcycle and shit. And
I thought that was kind of funny because there was a celebrity who was straight out, they got told they should smile.
It was Brie Larson.
Was it Brie Larson?
Yeah, because when the first trailer came out, people were complaining that she didn't smile in the trailer.
Oh, okay.
And they had already filmed that scene in the movie before the first trailer came out. So she was like, yeah, and like this wasn't in response to that. Like she was like, this is just what the female experience is. I was like, it made me think, I was like, because I, am a man, so I don't think about a woman's perspective on life and stuff like that. So I'm like, that would be kind of fucked up to constantly be having people tell you, like, oh, you ain't happy enough. You should smell like, bitch, the fuck? Get off my nuts. Like, what the fuck you mean?
Yeah.
So, it was very topical, and they had a lot of, things to say about the current state of the world and politics and stuff like that, but they didn't go too far into it.
Overboard on it.
But except for the refugee thing. That was the one thing where I was like, oh, yeah, y'all went real balls
I still
deep
like when
that
she
way.
punches the old lady.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, that was awesome.
Even more comical in the movie than it was
in the trailer. Yeah.
And then you see everybody on the train is like, ooh!
I know, and they're all trying to like pull her off her and shit. It's like, no, fuck that old bitch. She owe me some money.
She's over there doing flips and shit.
Yeah, no shit.
I know, I'm like, ain't nobody gonna hold this old lady down who doing backflips up and down the subway and shit, but y'all go on this bitch, like, I guess. Did you guys think, though, that she kind of got overpowered by the end, though? Because so far as what we've had up until this point, Thor is our strongest Avenger.
Yeah.
But he still kind of struggles with shit. Yeah, he has his lightning and his hammer or his axe now or whatever the fuck, but he can't just be like, and just wipe his hand over everything. They had this bitch just doing like loop-de-loops in the sky and just blowing up spaceships and shit, and she's smiling and shit, and I'm just like, I felt like she might have been a little bit too strong.
Grabbing their bombs so it didn't hit the...
Right, I'm like, she's stopping giant missiles and shit, and I'm just like, again, that's
to
fine.
To be fair, that could be why they are leaving so much out for her and putting it in Endgame.
Sure.
Because, I mean, if she's supposed to be their savior against Thanos...
That's the thing too. I'm not gonna like that. I mean, I don't know. I look. I have confidence in the MCU because they haven't done me wrong yet.
Not in a while.
Right, but I don't think that they would just have all this build up with all these characters we've got to know and established for the last 10 years, and then just throw this brand new character in and be like, I'm gonna beat Thanos up. Yeah, and it's like, fuck Cap, fuck Thor, especially Thor. If anything, he had an opportunity to kill Thanos and didn't do it. He needed the most redemption out of anybody, and just to have this brand new person be like, I got this shit fire hands, and he's just dead. And it's like, I don't know.
Did you realize our listeners couldn't see you there
No.
second?
I did the pose with the fire hands, but
I did like the fire suit though.
No,
that was legit.
Everything, like I said, I keep referring to her as Super Saiyan because this is as close as I'm gonna get to a Dragon Ball Z movie. This bitch was on fire, her eyes was glowing, hair was blonde and floating and shit. I was like, that's
flying through the universe.
Super Saiyan, yes, all of that. Though, was it weird that she didn't need to wear her mask by the very end when she takes the scrolls off into space? She doesn't put the mask helmet back on. Because remember earlier in the movie when she's underwater, she's wearing it because it has the little force field on the mouth for her to breathe. And when she's fighting the spaceship, she has it on because I'm assuming because she's in space. But then when she leaves at the very, very end, it's just like, I don't need it no more. I'm like,
thought maybe, to me, it was just another part of the extreme powers that she gets once she unleashes.
Maybe. But she had that power when she was fighting the spaceships, though. And she has the helmet on.
Yeah, but it wasn't. It wasn't.
No, because by that point she had got rid of it.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Because all the way up until the movie, the chip had her depowered to the point where all she could do was just shoot beams out of her hands. Like she couldn't fly or any of the other shit.
The chip was their way of manipulating her.
Yeah, so once she got the chip out, then she was just full on Goku and flying around blowing up shit. So I was just like, why not? Maybe she just thought it would look cool for that moment. She didn't need it.
Or I was about to say maybe she thought she needed it. And
good point. Okay, that's fair. Because it's like, well, shit, I don't know. I just did this shit like 5 minutes ago, so I don't know. I might not need shit.
Right.
I don't know. Like I'm just a little bit worried because I just don't want them to be like, oh, and now she gonna come punch Thanos in the dick, and now he dead, and that's the end of the movie.
But she's still gonna have to turn back time.
Something's got to go down. I don't know.
And I mean, maybe she just has to like combine her power with Thor and everybody to like to actually be able to get shit done.
Could be.
I got it. Have Thor strike her with lightning while she powering up, and then throw Captain America's shield with the power in it right into Thanos. Dead. Or just cut his arm off with that shit. One of the two. Hawkeye, shoot him in the leg with an arrow. No.
But he's not going to be Hawkeye in this one.
Oh, I'm sorry. Ronin will come in and slice him with his samurai sword, which I'm like, give him a gun. Like, what? Why? Y'all just keep giving him more and more medieval weapons. He's just going to have a club the next time we see his ass.
Yeah, he's going to have a ball and chain. Like,
Play some David and Goliath shit. This is going to be a fucking rock and a slingshot. Like,
he's going to have a ball and chain and be like, Cap, give me your shield. Give me your shield. Hold on.
Right. It's gonna be like, will somebody get this motherfucker a Uzi or something?
Get that man a gun.
Right. Well, you go from a bow and arrow to a sword. Like, what are you doing out here? Just go home.
Nobody asked you.
Go home, Hawkeye. Ronin, whatever the fuck you call him. So Clint, just go home. Shit.
Right?
But I mean, I did get excited from the mid-credit scene because I do want to see what she does when she shows up with the rest of the Avengers and all that. I just don't want her to
overpower everybody else.
Yeah, I'm like, and I'm interested to see like how she will relate because her powers come from the Tesseract. Because the Vision, his powers came from the Mind Stone, but he's dead now. Wanda, her and her brother's powers came from the Mind Stone, but her brother's dead. But she's still there. She was the only one that seemed to be able to fight back Thanos at the end of Infinity War when he was coming to get the Mind Stone. She's like holding him back with her powers. So maybe it'll be some girl-on-girl shit, and so Carol and Wanda, or Wanda will come together and, and Black Widow come shoot him in the ass or something, and then Okoye throw a spear at the motherfucker, and then it'll be all good. See, Girl Avengers.
Everybody else just gonna be in the movie with the scene, and they're just gonna have some popcorn and watching.
Right. Shit, Cap, like, shit, I'm just gonna sit on this shield and just watch this shit play out. Fuck it. Yeah, then we can get Pepper Potts' Iron Man suit, and she can come in and pew pew. And then,
there's talk.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit that I'm waiting to see how this plays out. Though, before we go, the one I said I want to retract something I said earlier. I said there was no wow moments for me in the movie. There was one part that I thought was really, really cool. Mm-hmm. After she blows up all the spaceships, she's done blew up the missiles and all that shit, and Ronin from the first Guardians movie, because he had a little cameo in here for some reason. I don't know. He didn't do shit. But he's like, I'll get you, you bitch, but not right now. And then we gotta go. But after she's done all that shit, and she's like floating in front of a spaceship, and she like hits her hand into her fist, and then like the shockwave goes through space. Yeah. That was cool. I was that was some boss ass shit. I'll give you that one. Other than that, though, yeah.
But say, and like that's how they're gonna have the part 2 of this movie, because he said we're gonna be back for the weapon, and they was like, oh, the woman.
Yeah, I know. He was like, oh, the Tesseract. He's like, no, the woman. And, which doesn't make sense to me because we killed him in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. So you ain't coming back. So I'm like, what are you even talking? Unless
part 2 takes place before
in the
Guardians.
past still. Yeah, I guess.
Could be.
But see, that's the thing, though. It's like, that's what I was worried about with Captain America, and I'm glad they didn't do. His origin story starts in the past, but then we bring him to the present.
Right.
I don't want to spend every Captain Marvel movie, and now it's the early 2000s, and, you know, it's like fucking Y2K and shit, and it's like, I don't need it. Because I think this movie takes place in 95.
Yeah, it does.
So, I'm like, I guess, man. Like, I don't need to see, you know...
I don't need a 5-year play-by-play.
Right. And look, if they do a 99, 2000 movie, I don't want to have the soundtrack be, hi, my name is... Like, no, I don't want none of that bullshit. Anyway.
Yep.
Thank you for sitting here and doing this review with me, guys. I had fun. Sorry if we triggered anybody out there on the interwebs. We are not misogynists.
Not at all.
Especially DJ Melly Mill. She's a woman.
Yeah, last time I checked.
I was gonna say, so
me too.
she right. And I love women. I was raised by a house full of women, so
shit, me too.
I was gonna say I don't.
I would say T Money's got.
I grew up in the estrogen ocean, like
right.
Their dog was a female.
And I just feel like I said earlier, some people are just like overly defending the movie. Like, if you have anything bad to say about Carol Danvers, you hate women and you want them to be chained up and their vaginas mutilated. And I'm like, no, man. Like,
that's not how this works.
Right. I'm like, maybe I just felt like she just didn't do that great. Okay, I'm not going to call anybody out directly, but there was an individual that said something to the effect of, if you like Tony Stark but have any problems with any aspect of Carol Danvers, then your misogyny is showing. And I'm like, no. I'm like,
two different characters presented two totally different ways.
Well, because I had made a comment about how I felt that, you know, she kind of reminded me of Tony with her quips and like little witty banter and stuff.
Yeah.
But then there was other aspects of her that didn't remind me of Tony at all. And I'm like, I'm not trying to say Tony is a perfect character or he's all good or anything like that. But I'm like, we've seen Tony at his we saw Tony deal with fucking PTSD.
I was gonna say,
after the first Avengers movie, Iron Man 3, this motherfucker, he couldn't sleep and shit and was freaking the fuck out. There's been multiple times where we have seen him dealing with depression and even alcoholism a little bit and shit like that. So he has layers to his character. Yes, he's an asshole. Yes, he's kind of a misogynist to a degree. But I like him because of his imperfections and because of the things that he does that I do like.
Right.
Carol didn't really have anything besides the quippy, jokey shit that I liked about her. Everything else, it was just like, you need to stop showing emotion as she just stares blankly at you. And I'm just like, less emotion? Like, what the fuck? She ain't said shit.
No, more emotion.
Yeah, I'm like, she gets mad. She'd beat the fuck out of motherfucker in a heartbeat. But I'm like, other than that, I didn't really feel like she was just like, or overly happy. I don't know. Somebody's going to be mad at me for saying that. But
somebody's always mad at somebody for something.
Like I said earlier, everybody get butt hurt over any little thing these days. So
that's true. But yeah, thanks again, guys, for joining us for this review. Let us know what you thought about the movie, and hey, call us out if you think we're wrong, right? You want to, bring up any points that we should have talked about that you think that we might have missed. I'm really interested to see how everyone's reactions are going to be to this movie and how this movie is going to continue to do in the following weeks. Because like I said, it did $153 million this weekend, but it got released worldwide as well. So it's already almost at like $500 million right now. So I'm curious to see how it plays out in the next few weeks and months.
Makes me really excited to take these directing classes.
Right. But that is it for the show. Remember, you can always find us at our home, onegiantleapforgeeks.libsyn.com. We are also on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, or anywhere else you get your podcast. Make sure to show us some love, so go ahead and hit that like, subscribe, rate, follow, review, and all that shit.
And if you have any comments, questions, concerns, criticisms, or, you just want to say hi, you can always email us at officialoglfg@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter at GiantLeap4Geeks. You can find myself on Twitter at Froggy Beaver. And then, of course, Benwah is on Twitter at BENWAH. We are also on Facebook, Reddit, Instagram, my personal account on Pinterest, whatever. Just search for One Giant Leap for Geeks. All right, you guys have a good night. Bye.